Hello, this is Perry Peacock today with Wilderness Innovation, and out here to do a bit of some winter camping and survival work today. Shoot a video or two, and I'm here. As you can see, most of this stream is frozen over here, and we're going to do a little demonstration of some equipment today that you can use, that you can even make yourself. That can be very inexpensive, but yet is incredibly effective. Something's been that I've personally used since the early 80s. So let's get on with that. And today I think we're going to talk about headgear. Okay, now as I promised you, I'm going to show you some gear here made very simply, and we're talking about headgear. Headwear, and this is some stuff that we worked back in the 80s with the Boy Scouts. Hundreds of Boy Scouts made a complete set of winter gear, and we showed them how to make hats and mittens, jackets, insulated pants, mucklucks. These are some similar to what we made back then. These are homemade. We showed how to make sleeping bags, sleeping systems, some big mittens and everything, and I'll show probably some clips of that later on here. But here, basically what we're using polyurethane foam, and I'll talk about that in just a minute, why that's very good. And this is a very kind of a crude but yet a simple hat, and it's just made out of polyurethane foam. It's basically a round top and a side here that's kind of cut with a little bit of, some cuts here so you can pull it down and cover your cheek a little bit and that sort of thing. And it's just glued together with 3M 77 glue for foam. And then I actually kind of reinforced it with just a little kind of a spiral stitch right here that I just went around with a needle and thread, just because then I can roll this thing up, stuff it in a pack, whatever. I mean, it just toughens it up a little bit. But as you can see, very simple to make, and we're going to have another video that shows we're going to actually make one and show you exactly how to do it. So this is the hat. This is the basic no frills, as you can see, no frills hat. But I'm going to tell you what, it is so toasty warm. I'm going to do a demonstration a little later on. Alright, here I am. Exactly how I'm going to show you another example of why this hat, this material is so great to use, particularly in the wintertime in severe conditions. Now this hat that I'm wearing right here, just so that you can see how this thing works. This is not coated with any kind of fabric. No waterproofing, nothing. This is just plain, straight polyurethane foam. That's it. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to knock me a little hole in the ice here. It's starting to get a little bit thick here in places. Alright, now this hat is nice and toasty warm right now. Alright. Woo! Cold water. Okay, that's pretty wet, right? Ice cold water. Now, this hat right here, you see, this foam does not hold on to water. The water is just draining out of it. Let's say I fell in somewhere and I was wearing this foam gear. My worst case scenario is all I got to do is go like that. Right there. And now I can put this hat right back on. It's a little cold right now. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit of warmth on my head. warm up my hands here while I'm counting. Okay, now it's getting warmer. Now I really just feel fine right now. That's how fast this stuff will recover from immersion in cold water. Now, you know, there's not a lot of materials that will do that for you. And that's one thing we really like about it, especially we were dealing at the time with the Boy Scouts. If they're to get into trouble, fall in somewhere, give them something that they can deal with that's safe, even if they fall in somewhere. I wouldn't have even had it. I could have, if this is on my head, I could even just squeezed it like that and been fine. But this hat is still damp, but the hat is warm. It's warm on my head. My head feels fine. I don't feel the least bit of cold from this. So now, one thing you got to look at is, you know, when we're talking about insulators, whether you're down or any of the poly type foam insulations, or you know, batted insulations or loose or whatever, you know, all the modern iterations of that. No matter what you're trying to do is you're trying to limit the circulation of air. You're trying to trap air in little places, whether that's in little cells or whatever. Like this foam is just a mass of little holes and little webs and little, you know, just little things like that to trap this air. This is a very fine, soft foam. There's millions of little cells, type of cells in here. This is open cell. This is not a closed cell foam. So I could breathe through it, blow through it, whatever. But all that traps that air from moving around. So the heat from my head radiates into that, and that air develops a little kind of an atmosphere on my head, which keeps my head warm. So even though this thing's damp, my head is still warm, and it's still very comfortable. And one other thing about it is, even though I just soaked this thing, as you saw, in the stream, I still have my inch of foam insulation here. So I'm not compromising the thickness of my insulation. All I did is I wrung that out real quick, stuck it on my head, and I have my full thickness of insulation immediately, and that helps me to be warm in this situation. Now I'm going to show you one other thing in just a moment here. It's kind of slippery here. All right.